Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're lacing up our virtual boots for a really unique journey, sort of an exploratory preview,
Right.
specifically designed for those of you who, thrive on a challenge on the trail.
Hmm.
We're not just going to read you a map. We're aiming to give you the ultimate insider's perspective on the Sitton Peak hike. That's via Bear Canyon Trail, right there in the Cleveland National Forest.
Right.
So this deep dive, it's really custom tailored for our intermediate to advanced hikers listening in, especially those who genuinely relish those 9 to 11 mile treks.
Yeah, the ones with significant elevation gain.
Exactly. And you enjoy a moderate to fast pace, and you really appreciate that camaraderie you get with a group hike.
Wow.
So if you're maybe a regular with not so casual hikes, or you're looking to join a scenic challenge, something that balances effort with, well, incredible reward, then you are absolutely in the right place.
And that's precisely our mission today. To equip you, the listener, with every piece of critical knowledge you'll need about this specific route. We'll cover its diverse terrain, its true difficulty level.
Which sounds like it varies a bit.
It does, yeah, and what captivating sights and, challenges you'll encounter along the way. And most importantly, how to best prepare yourself for a successful and hopefully enjoyable day out there.
Okay.
We've meticulously gathered insights from, well, a whole range of sources.
Yeah.
Wilderness experts, seasoned hikers who've done this peak multiple times.
People who know it well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And official park information, too. All to give you the most comprehensive picture possible before you even think about lacing up those boots.
All right, think of this as your pre-hike huddle then. So what are we waiting for? Let's unpack this and get into the real story of Sitton Peak.
A wild gem in an urban setting.
Okay, before we actually hit the trail and start talking mileage and elevation, let's really set the scene for Sitton Peak. It's nestled deep within the San Mateo Canyon wilderness, which itself is a federally protected area lying squarely within the huge Cleveland National Forest. It really is a wild gem, almost surprisingly so, given, there it is.
What's truly fascinating here, and I think a point people often miss, is that the Cleveland National Forest isn't your typical remote wilderness. It's frequently described as California's most urban national forest.
Urban? How so?
Well, think about it. It borders numerous cities, developed private lands, which naturally leads to millions of visitors every year.
Wow, millions.
Yeah, so this isn't some untouched, far-flung backcountry hundreds of miles from anywhere. It's right on the literal edge of bustling Southern California. Yet somehow it retains this incredible degree of wildness.
That's amazing.
It is. And the Trabuco Ranger District, specifically where Sitton Peak lies, is largely surrounded by development, but remains remarkably wild and ecologically significant. It's a real testament to its resilience and, well, the foresight in protecting it.
And within this, paradox of urban-adjacent wilderness, we find the San Mateo Canyon wilderness itself, a magnificent expanse that Congress specifically protected back in 1984.
1984.
And we're talking a substantial area, 39,413 acres of pretty pristine natural beauty, stretching across the rugged Santa Ana Mountains and spanning 3 major Southern California counties, Orange, Riverside, and San Diego.
Right.
That wilderness designation, it isn't just a label, is it? It really underscores its immense ecological importance, ensuring this vital habitat stays wild and accessible, kind of like a green lung for the whole region.
Exactly. And this area is particularly unique because it's one of the few remaining large, intact expanses of chaparral and coastal sage scrub in southwestern California.
Okay, chaparral and coastal sage scrub. Let's break that down a bit. What are we actually picturing?
Right. So if you're just picturing a bunch of nondescript bushes, let's redefine that image.
Yeah.
Chaparral, which dominates most of the Santa Anas, is this vibrant, really dense community of evergreen shrubs. These plants are true survivors, brilliantly adapted to the climate here. Hot, dry summers, mild, wet winters.
Hardy stuff.
Very hardy. You'll encounter iconic species like manzanita, with its striking, smooth, reddish-brown bark and those cool, twisted branches.
Yeah, I know manzanita.
And the bright red-berried toyon, people call it California holly sometimes. Various types of ceanothus, those beautiful blue or white flowers. And chamise, that's a foundational species. Plus silk tassel bush, mountain mahogany, sugar bush. They all contribute to this mosaic.
Wow, lots of variety.
Yeah. And then the coastal sage scrub. That's generally shorter, more open shrub habitat. Sadly, this particular community is now considered critically endangered.
Oh.
Yeah, due to all the rapid regional development across Southern California. So its remaining pockets, like the ones you find within this wilderness area, they're incredibly precious. A vital piece of the state's natural heritage, really.
And these shrub communities, they aren't just pretty to look at, right? They're like a paradise for life, a real ecological powerhouse.
Absolutely essential for countless pollinating insects, providing crucial nectar and habitat that literally keeps the ecosystem running. And of course, they support a multitude of bird species.
Like which ones might we see or hear?
Well, think about the California thrasher. It's endemic to California, easy to spot with its long, curved bill, always foraging in the undergrowth.
Okay.
Or the canyon wren. You'll often hear its song, this cascading flute-like sound echoing through the canyons. It adds a beautiful soundtrack to your hike.
Nice.
But the diversity doesn't stop there. The canyons themselves, like San Mateo Canyon and its tributaries, they shelter abundant sycamore, majestic oak, willow, cottonwood trees. These form cooler, shaded riparian zones.
Ah, some shade. That's good to know.
Definitely welcome respite. And here and there, almost like hidden treasures, you can even find groves of the big cone Douglas fir. That's a unique conifer species found only in southwestern California.
Really? Just here?
Pretty much. So it's truly a rich, incredibly diverse ecosystem, just teeming with life, thriving right on the urban edge. It powerfully demonstrates the incredible natural beauty and wildness can persist and even flourish right next to extensive human development. Understanding the Sitton Peak hike. The numbers.
Okay, so we've painted this picture of a really unique ecological spot. Let's turn now to the physical challenge itself because, for our listeners, the numbers often tell the real story of a trek.
Right, the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. So what are we talking about in terms of effort for this hike? Now, as you might expect, different sources, different GPS tracks, they give slightly varied numbers, but they do seem to coalesce into a pretty clear picture for our intermediate to advanced hikers. This is definitely not a casual stroll, but it's certainly manageable and rewarding for those with a solid fitness base and, well, a love for climbing.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of SoCal hiking, Sitton Peak is quite interesting. It's considered one of the easier ascents within the region's informal but well-known Six-Pack of Peaks challenge.
Ah, the six-pack. Okay, so it's on the easier end of that challenge.
Relatively speaking, yes. Especially compared to giants like Mount Baldy in terms of just raw elevation. But don't let easier fool you. It still presents a substantial workout. It offers a really rewarding experience without being overly grueling for an experienced hiker. Makes it an excellent stepping stone if you're eyeing bigger peak bagging goals later on.
Good point. So the total distance. For Sitton Peak, starting and ending at the Bear Canyon trailhead, it generally falls within a pretty tight range, right? Like 9.5 to maybe 10.14 miles as an out and back?
Yeah, that's about right. We've seen one reliable source pinpoint it at 9.6 miles, while another hiker's tracker logged it slightly longer at 10.14 miles. Things vary.
Sure. But that range, 9.5 to 10-ish miles, it aligns perfectly with that 9-11-mile distance our listeners are often looking for in a challenging group trek.
Exactly. It's enough distance to feel like a significant accomplishment, to really stretch your legs and embrace the wilderness, but not so long it becomes an epic all-day sufferfest.
Right. Nobody wants a sufferfest unless they signed up for one. Okay, elevation. Sitton Peak itself stands at 3,273 feet above sea level.
Correct. Not the highest peak around by any means.
But the total elevation gain for the hike, out and back, that's consistently reported around 2,000 to 2,150 feet.
Yeah, remarkably consistent. We saw one hiker record a gain of 2,037 feet, another reported 2,080 feet, and the popular hiking guy source states 2,130 feet.
That's pretty tight agreement.
It really is, and it highlights a solid, significant elevation gain. When you spread that gain over the 9 to 10 mile distance, it makes for a challenging hike that keeps your legs working, but it's not constantly punishingly steep for most of the trail. It kind of sets you up for that memorable final push to the summit. It's a sustained effort that builds.
Okay, so how long should people plan for? Estimated completion time, typically between 4 to 5 hours for, let's say, an average experienced hiker moving at a good pace.
That sounds about right. We saw one hiker, clearly moving pretty briskly, reported a moving time of about 3.5 hours. But their total time, including breaks for snacks, photos, soaking in the view.
The important stuff.
That was 5 hours and 4 minutes. So yeah, it's a solid half-day commitment, perfect for a robust morning or early afternoon group adventure, leaving you plenty of time afterward to, celebrate.
Definitely. So this brings us to the overall difficulty. Sources rate it as moderate to difficult.
Consistently, moderate to difficult. And that distinction is crucial, because it's not uniformly difficult all the way,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
While maybe 90% of the trail is described as easy to intermediate, with manageable grades, rolling terrain,
Mhm.
that can be a bit deceiving. It might make you feel a little overly confident until that final challenging push to the summit. That's the section that really earns the difficult rating, and we'll definitely get into the details of that shortly. It's a workout that builds progressively, testing your endurance and your mental fortitude as you get closer to the peak.
Trailhead logistic.
All right, ready to actually get this adventure started. To embark on this trek, you'll begin at a very distinctive, easily recognizable landmark. One that many hikers, especially those familiar with Ortega Highway, will know instantly: the Ortega Oaks Candy Store.
Oh, yeah, the candy store. It's more than just a store. It's practically a local institution for anyone exploring that area. Hard to miss.
So the Bear Canyon Trail, the gateway to Sitton Peak, begins right next to this store, on Ortega Highway, State Highway 74, in Lake Elsinore.
That's absolutely right. Directly adjacent. If you're coming from the Orange County side heading east, the candy store and the trailhead will be conveniently on your right.
And look for the giant candy cane.
Exactly. You'll easily identify it by its large, iconic, rainbow-colored candy cane out front. It's like this vibrant beacon for hikers, motorcyclists, travelers, a little splash of whimsy before you hit the wild.
Okay, parking. Always key for popular trails. Sitton Peak's no exception. There's a decent-sized lot right across the street from the candy store and a trailer park.
Correct. Directly across. You'll want to aim for the lower level of that lot that puts you closest to the actual start of the hike.
But I sense a but coming.
But, yes, and this is a crucial tip from multiple sources. That lot can fill up surprisingly quickly, especially on peak days, weekends, holidays. So arriving early, and we mean early, is definitely your best bet to grab a spot and avoid that pre-hike stress.
Good heads up. What if the main lot is full? Can you park elsewhere?
You do have an alternative. You can also park along the street. However, and this is a big, however extreme, caution is advised.
Why is that?
Ortega Highway is notorious for fast-moving cars and street bikes. It can be hazardous, especially if you're distracted trying to get your gear ready. So make sure you pull your vehicle all the way onto the shoulder, well off the road. And please pay absolute close attention to traffic when you cross the highway to reach the trailhead. Safety first, don't rush it.
Okay, very important. Now, permits. You mentioned parking. You need a permit for the lot, right?
Yeah.
An adventure pass.
Yes, an adventure pass is required for parking anywhere in the Cleveland National Forest. Or, if you happen to have a National Parks Pass, the America the Beautiful Pass.
Yeah, the annual one.
Right. That works too, covers all national managed lands, so it's super versatile if you explore a lot.
And if you don't have an annual pass,
No problem. A day pass costs a very reasonable $5. And here's the really convenient part. You can buy it, cash only, right there at the Ortega Oaks candy store at the trailhead.
oh, perfect. Cash only, good tip.
Yeah, cash only. It makes getting your permit incredibly easy, no last-minute scrambling.
And you mentioned the candy store staff are kind of part of the hiking community.
They really are, often described as well ingrained in the hiking community. It means they're likely locals who understand the trails, maybe current conditions, what hikers need. They're an invaluable local resource. You might even ask them for last-minute tips. And of course, after a challenging hike, rewarding yourself with some treats from the store. Highly recommend it. It's a perfect way to cap off the adventure. Maybe share stories with other hikers you bump into.
Love it. Okay, one final logistical note. Restrooms.
Yes, important one. There are readily available restrooms at the parking lot, so great convenience. Take advantage before you start.
But none on the trail itself.
Correct. Once you step onto the trail, you won't find any facilities, so plan accordingly for a comfortable hike.
Got it. And there's a sign-in box, too, near the start.
Yes, just past the trail information sign-in map, you'll find a metal sign-in box. It's really recommended you sign in.
Why is that? Does it really matter?
It does for two key reasons. First, it helps the County Monitor Trail use vital for planning maintenance, allocating resources, keeping trails good.
Okay, makes sense.
But more importantly for you, it provides a crucial paper trail for search and rescue teams in case of an emergency. Gives them vital info. Who might be on the trail, maybe a rough timeline. It's a small step, adds a significant layer of safety, worth the minute it takes. The journey up, trail progression, and terrain.
Right. Permits sorted, car parked, bladder empty. You carefully cross the highway again. Carefully.
Yes, please.
And hit the Bear Canyon trailhead. How does the trail start out? Aggressive climb right away.
No, actually, the beginning is described as a beautifully gradual warm-up incline. It eases you in, lets your legs find their rhythm. There are some welcome flat sections mixed in with the climbing. It's designed to get you ready, not push you into a breathless sprint from the get-go.
Okay, good. And the terrain. What's it like underfoot?
You'll immediately notice it's remarkably varied. Some parts can be muddy, especially after rain, giving you that squish. Other sections are quite rocky, more rugged, uneven.
Watch your ankles.
Definitely. You'll also hit stretches that are dry and cracked, and areas with this striking, almost terracotta-colored red soil. Really photogenic. But despite these variations, hikers consistently report the trail is in very good condition overall. Surprisingly soft soil underfoot for much of it, only a moderate scattering of loose rocks. It shows it's well taken care of, makes for a generally enjoyable, comfortable hike despite the natural diversity. You're not fighting the trail, you're moving with it.
Nice. So as you climb, you're winding through that chaparral we talked about, those dense shrubs.
Exactly, chaparral-draped slopes. You'll also spot those distinctive tall spires of yucca with their sword-like leaves, sometimes impressive flower stalks. Adds a cool vertical element.
Okay.
Then, about 0.8 miles in, you officially enter the San Mateo wilderness, and you'll notice a subtle but distinct change. The dense scrub gradually gives way to more shaded oak trees.
Ah, the oaks again. So some shade.
Yeah, forming beautiful, cooler areas, lovely pockets of relief on warmer days, a welcome change of scenery.
How's the navigation?
Yeah.
Easy to follow.
Generally, yes, which is a huge plus. Thanks to a system of well-marked junctions, you'll spot them easily, white stake trail signs, common in the San Mateo wilderness, clearly pointing the way.
Okay, specific junctions to watch for.
Yeah, a couple key ones. Around 1 mile in, you hit a clear fork. Here, you need to take a definite right to stay on the Bear Canyon Trail. Going left puts you on the Morgan Trail, totally different hike.
Got it. Right at mile 1.
Then, after another mile, so roughly 2 miles in, you hit another significant road split. Again, make a right here, continue diligently on Bear Canyon Trail, heading towards that crucial upcoming junction, Four Corners.
Right at mile 2 as well. Seems simple enough.
It usually is. Now, one hiker did note that taking the straight-ahead trail at that second junction, the 2-mile mark, might also eventually lead to Four Corners. But following the clear signs for Bear Canyon is always the safest, most reliable bet. Stay on course, conserve energy.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier the trail isn't just uphill, it kind of rolls.
It does. It can be a bit deceiving, almost plays a game with your legs. You'll hit sections where you actually go downhill, losing some of that hard-earned elevation.
Oh, I hate that.
Aha. Yeah, only to find yourself climbing back up what one hiker vividly called a monstrous hill later on.
Okay, monstrous. Good to know.
This undulating profile, these ups and downs before the final summit push, it provides a constant, engaging leg workout. Keeps things interesting, prevents monotony, ensures you're always adapting. It's like a natural roller coaster that prepares you.
And the scenery during this middle section,
Yeah.
especially in spring.
Oh, spring is fantastic. You're in for a treat. Tons of gorgeous wildflowers painting the hillsides with color, and you'll often hear that unmistakable busy hum of bees actively pollinating, a sign of a really thriving ecosystem.
What kind of plants might we see besides the flowers?
Hikers have spotted all sorts of acorns dropping from the oaks, sweet sugarberries, curious wild cucumbers, refreshing miner's lettuce, and those distinct manzanitos again, with their smooth red bark and fragrant flowers.
Sounds lovely. Any hazards to watch for here, besides the monstrous hills?
Yes, absolutely crucial point. Be keenly aware of poison oak.
Ah, the dreaded 3 leaves. Where is it most common?
Particularly in those riparian zones near seasonal creeks and within the shaded oak groves. It's vital to keep an eye out for its glossy 3-leaf clusters and actively try not to brush against it. That rash can really ruin your post-hike feeling.
Good warning.
Yeah.
So somewhere around here you start seeing the peak itself.
Yes, around this point, after some of those undulations, you catch your first distant, tantalizing view of Sitton Peak towering majestically ahead.
Motivation.
Exactly, a real motivator. But the views aren't just of the peak. You also get outstanding, expansive panoramas. In the foreground, the sweeping curves of San Juan Canyon. Beyond that, a vast vista of western Orange County.
Wow.
And on a really clear day, those crisp post-rain days are the best. You might even glimpse the sparkling Pacific Ocean way out there.
No way. From here.
Yep, a truly spectacular and unexpected payoff for your efforts so far.
Okay, keep going. Pigeon Spring, that's another landmark.
Right, at approximately 2.7 miles in, you'll pass Pigeon Spring. It's described as a particularly beautiful oak woodland, often chosen by hikers as a convenient rest stop, shady, tranquil.
Is there usually water there?
Well, one hiker reported it was dry when they passed, which can definitely happen depending on the season and rainfall, especially late summer or fall. But even if dry, it's still a key navigational marker and a charming spot.
Okay.
Beyond Pigeon Spring, the trail continues, leading you through an area with some fascinating remnants of old ranch land, now part of the protected wilderness. A little glimpse into the past.
Interesting. And this main segment leads to?
It culminates at approximately 3.2 miles, where you reach that truly pivotal junction known descriptively as Four Corners.
Four Corners. But wait, didn't you say?
Ah, yes. Despite the name, don't be fooled. Our sources confirm there are actually 5 distinct trails converging here.
5 trails. Okay, that could be confusing.
It could be, yeah. It's a genuine crossroads in the heart of the wilderness. Imagine standing there, catching your breath, looking back, before deciding your next crucial move. This intersection isn't just a waypoint, it's where the hike's character really shifts. Signals your true approach to Sitton Peak and the start of that final ascent.
So at Four Corners, with 5 trails meeting, which way do we go for Sitton Peak?
This is crucial. You'll make what many describe as a hard right, or what one hiker even called a counterintuitive right turn.
Hard right, counterintuitive right. Got it.
This turn leads you onto the Sitton Peak Trail, also known as the Sitton Peak Truck Trail. Importantly, it is clearly marked with a trail marker, so you shouldn't get lost if you're looking carefully.
Okay. Now, I heard there might be an alternate route to Four Corners, something called Bear Ridge.
Ah, yes, good point. For those seeking a bit of variety or maybe a slightly different view, some sources suggest an intriguing alternative. Instead of staying right on the main Bear Canyon Trail back at that 2-mile mark, you could opt to take the Bear Ridge portion of the trail. It's described as more scenic, offering these expansive, open views towards San Diego and the eastern mountains.
More scenic, but is it harder? Longer?
It's slightly longer, yeah. About 1.5 miles versus the 1.2 miles of the main Bear Canyon route to Four Corners. But for those who prioritize views and maybe a little extra challenge, it's a great option.
Okay. But either way, Bear Canyon or Bear Ridge?
Either way you choose, rest assured, both paths ultimately lead you right to the Four Corners Junction, setting you up for that memorable final ascent, the final push. A brutal but rewarding scramble.
Okay. Made the hard right at Four Corners. That brief downhill break is over, right? Starts climbing again immediately.
Immediately. The downhill comes to an abrupt end, and you'll feel the trail begin to climb again. Initially, it's described as rocky and somewhat narrow. Need careful footing, pay attention.
But then it widens out.
Yeah, eventually it opens up into what becomes a wide, surprisingly well-maintained road. Offers a brief reprieve, a chance to catch your breath before the real challenge hits.
Ah, the calm before the storm. Because this is where the hike really earns that difficult rating, isn't it? The final ascent.
This is absolutely it. One of the most talked about sections. Many hikers describe this last stretch as a genuine surprise after the more mellow, rolling initial parts. Often catches them off guard with its intensity.
Like you think you're almost there and bam.
Exactly. You might have been lulled into a sense of accomplishment, but nope, the trail saves its most demanding effort for last. This is where your mental fortitude, your physical conditioning, truly get tested.
How long is this final push, and how steep are we talking?
It's remarkably short, but incredibly intense. Roughly only 0.33 to zero point 0.4 miles long, but packed into that short distance is a significant elevation gain, about 380 feet.
Wow, 380 feet in less than half a mile. That's steep.
It is. To put that in perspective, it's definitively a climb, not just a walk. Requires a dedicated, sustained effort. The steepness is considerable, pushes your leg muscles to their limit. This is where Stairmaster in nature comes to mind.
Okay. Now, I've heard different descriptions. Some call it a scramble, others just very steep. What's the deal?
That really highlights its subjective challenge, how it feels different to each person. Some absolutely call it a true scramble, where the trail maybe peters out a bit, requires you to just keep heading upwards, find your own best path through loose terrain, maybe even use your hands occasionally.
Okay, hands involved potentially.
Potentially. Others, though, say it's easy to follow but very steep, or maybe not really a scramble to them, but unequivocally the most difficult portion with the steepest grade of the whole hike.
This regardless of the label.
Regardless, the consensus is clear. Expect to exert yourself significantly here. This is where your heart might be pounding, breath coming in gasps, muscles screaming just a little.
What's the terrain like on this steep bit? Loose? Rocky?
All of the above. You'll contend with loose dirt, makes footing tricky, can cause sliding. Various rocks demand careful foot placement.
Hmm.
And potentially muddy sections if it's rained recently, adding slipperiness.
I heard someone mention butt sliding on the way down.
Haha, yes, that came up. Sounds like an unconventional yet maybe effective descent method for some.
Desperate times. Is it narrow too?
It is narrow in places, yeah. Means you might need to stop, yield to other hikers coming up or down. Good trail etiquette is key here. Plus, the path can be significantly overgrown with manzanita.
Ah, the grabby manzanita again.
Exactly. So, wearing long pants, maybe durable ones, is highly recommended to avoid scratches. And good footwear with aggressive tread is absolutely vital here for traction on that loose stuff.
Okay. I remember reading about a funny moment someone had here with a dog.
Oh, yeah, that was great. One hiker recounted being, quote, struggling to keep from sliding down when we saw this tiny pup fly down the hill like he was a little mountain goat.
Uh-huh. That's fantastic. Little inspiration.
Right. A humorous moment of contrast. But despite the intense challenge, hikers generally felt safe. Noted there isn't too much exposure at that point, which is a relief on such a steep climb. You're focused upwards, not worried about falling off a cliff.
Good to know. Okay, landmarks on this final climb. A watering trough.
Yes, you'll pass a watering trough, a small but notable sign you're getting closer. And then just beyond it, tucked into the brush on your left, you'll see some helicopter wreckage.
Ah, yes. That's from an accident, right?
It is a somber reminder of a tragic incident back in 1986. A Bell AH-1 Super Cobra crashed during a training mission from Camp Pendleton, resulting in the heartbreaking loss of 2 Marines.
Wow.
Yeah. So remember to be respectful as you pass this site. Acknowledge the history, the solemnity. It's a powerful moment of reflection amidst the beauty.
Definitely. Okay, after the wreckage. Almost there.
Almost. Keep a keen eye out shortly after for a sharp right turn at a distinct trail marker. This is really where the work intensifies for that final quarter mile of very steep uphill. Feels almost vertical sometimes.
The last push.
The very last push. Engage your core, use those poles for leverage, focus on steady steps. As you finally gain the ridge after this last burst, Sitton Peak will become unmistakably clear to your left. You are literally within a stone's throw of the summit. The end is right there. The summit and descent. Views and challenges.
Phew. Okay, after that demanding, heart-pounding final climb, the trail levels out, and the peak comes into full view. Must be a huge relief.
Oh, absolutely. A truly welcome sight after all that work. A moment of profound relief and accomplishment. You'll find yourself on a relatively small, bouldery area at the summit.
What's actually at the summit? Anything marking it?
Often, yes. You'll usually find 3 official USGS markers, those little brass discs cemented into the rock, proving you've made it to a geodetic point.
Cool.
And sometimes there's even a cute little sign, as one hiker called it, conveniently placed for those coveted summit photos. Makes it absolutely clear you've reached your goal, earned those bragging rights.
Nice. But the real reward is the view, right? Well, what's it like up there?
The payoff is truly immense. Sitton Peak, despite its modest elevation compared to some other giants, offers this commanding 360-degree panoramic view that is consistently praised.
360 degrees, what can you see?
On a clear day, your gaze sweeps across this vast, awe-inspiring landscape. To the south, you might spot the shimmering outline of Catalina Island out in the Pacific.
Wow. Catalina.
Yep. To the north, the majestic, often snow-capped Mount Baldy. You'll also see the prominent peaks of San Jacinto and San Gorgonio, huge peaks in the region. And maybe most uniquely, given how close you are to urban areas, you can clearly see Santiago Peak, the highest point in Orange County, standing tall nearby.
That's incredible. So you see mountains, ocean, city.
Pretty much. Hikers consistently describe it as a gorgeous view and unequivocally well worth the scramble. Vistas can extend 50 miles or more in every direction. It's a breathtaking testament to that wildness persisting right on the urban edge.
Is it usually crowded at the top?
Depends. One hiker mentioned having the view entirely to themselves one cold morning, pure, serene solitude.
Nice.
But others reported the peak being quite cramped due to friendly hiking groups already there, taking photos, sharing snacks, enjoying the triumph. So, depending on the day and time, you might share that fantastic vista. Adds to the camaraderie, really, sharing the effort and the view.
Makes sense. Okay, after soaking it all and maybe pouring water on your head like that one hiker.
Haha, yeah, felt refreshing.
So you start the descent. Now coming down. Easier than going up. Or different challenges.
Different challenges, definitely. While some might find coming down easier, maybe feeling like that mountain goat,
Right.
others found their legs were on fire from the constant downhill impact, especially navigating several rocky staircases that require controlled, precise movements.
Ah, the quads screaming on the way down instead of the way up.
Exactly. Which highlights why trekking poles are so highly recommended for the descent.
How do they help?
They help immensely with stability, significantly reduce impact on your knees, which you'll thank them for later, and provide crucial leverage, particularly on those slippery, steep sections of loose dirt and rocks from the final push. Good downhill technique and cushioned footwear are key here too.
Okay, poles are a must for the down then. Now, I remember reading an interesting observation that the way back can actually be more scenic. How does that work?
Yeah, that was a great insight from a seasoned hiker. On the way up, your view is often somewhat blocked by the tall chaparral and brush because you're constantly looking uphill, right?
True.
But on the way back, as you're looking downhill, your perspective opens up dramatically. You can truly take in much more of the surrounding landscape. It's this fantastic little bonus, offering a different visual experience, a lovely way to celebrate your success and reflect on the journey as you head back down. Optimal timing and weather wisdom.
Okay, planning this hike. Timing seems critical, especially here in Southern California where conditions swing wildly.
Absolutely everything. Choosing the right time of year, even the right time of day, can truly transform your experience from, well, a potential sufferfest into a profoundly enjoyable outing.
So summer, is that a good time for Sitton Peak?
Let's talk about summer. The Santa Ana Mountains can be brutally hot and intensely dry. Temperatures in the canyons can easily exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
And maybe even more shocking, ground temperatures can commonly hit 135 degrees.
Okay, that's dangerously hot.
It is. So, should you hike Sitton Peak in the summer? For the vast majority of hikers, the answer is a resounding no. Unless you are extremely avid, highly experienced, meticulously prepared, with extensive knowledge of heat management, it's just not recommended.
Why not? Besides the obvious discomfort.
The trail offers very little shade, constant direct sun exposure. It could quickly lead to rapid dehydration, heat exhaustion, or even life-threatening heat stroke. It's simply not worth the risk for enjoyment.
Okay, so summer is out for most people. When is the best time?
Cooler days. Spring, late fall, and winter are universally recommended as the ideal seasons.
Spring sounds nice with the wildflowers you mentioned.
Spring is phenomenal, brings that wealth of vibrant wildflowers, paints the hills lush green, transforms the landscape. And winter. After those rare storms, you might even get a short-lived dusting of snow on the higher elevations.
Snow near Orange County.
Yeah, a truly unique, breathtaking perspective. A little winter wonderland within reach of the city.
Cool. What about rain? You mentioned flash floods?
Right. Annual rainfall is about 15 to 20 inches, mostly falling in winter and early spring. While it brings the green, you need to be acutely mindful. Flash floods can rip through narrow canyons and heavy downpours, can make areas extremely dangerous, impassable.
So always check the forecast.
Always, always check the forecast immediately before your trip, not just the day before. Conditions can change instantly, dramatically in these mountains.
And time of day. Early morning is best.
Always a smart strategy, regardless of the season. Capitalize on cooler temps, especially in shoulder seasons, and significantly increases your chance of getting parking before the crowds arrive. Ensures a more peaceful start.
Preparing for the wild.
All right, beyond weather checks and permits, safety is paramount. These wild places are beautiful, but they can be dangerous if you're unprepared, right? Especially on a longer, tougher hike like this.
Absolutely. Taking comprehensive precautions isn't just recommended. It's essential for a successful, safe adventure in the San Mateo Canyon wilderness.
Top priority.
Right.
Better. How much are we really talking?
Hydration is non-negotiable. You need plenty. While a Forest Service minimum is 1 liter per person per day, for this hike distance, elevation gain, potential heat, other sources strongly suggest bringing 2-3 liters, or even a full gallon per person per day, especially if it's warmer or you sweat a lot.
Better to carry extra than run out.
Always. Always better to carry a little extra weight in water than risk serious dehydration. And crucially, avoid caffeine, alcohol before and during their diuretics make you lose water. Maybe consider electrolyte tablets or powders too. Replace lost salts.
Good tip. What about clothing?
Crucial too. Lightweight, light-colored, breathable clothing helps regulate temperature, reflects sun. Always pack a wide-brimmed hat, goods and sunglasses with UV protection, and apply plenty of high SPF sunscreen. Much of the trail is exposed.
Layers are probably good too. Mornings can be cold.
Very smart choice, especially cooler months. Mornings can be surprisingly cold, maybe even frost, even if the day heats up. Layers let you adjust easily. And remember those long pants for the brush.
Right, the Manzanita defense. Okay, the 10 essentials. Everyone talks about them. What are, again, quickly.
More than just a list. They're a lifesaver kit. For Sitton, think optimized. 1. Detailed map, maybe waterproofed. 2. Reliable compass and know how to use them.
Especially for that scramble bit.
Exactly. 3. Flashlight or headlamp, extra batteries even for a day hike. 4. Multi-tool or knife. 5. Windproof, waterproof matches in a waterproof case. 6. Fire starter, emergency only. 7. Well-stocked first aid kit, blisters, sprains, not just scrapes. 8. Extra food and water emergency stash. 9. Extra clothing, rainwear, insulation. 10. Sun protection, sunscreen, sunglasses, hat. Being prepared with these means you're ready for most things.
Okay, that's comprehensive. Wildlife, snakes, poison oak again.
Need to be aware. Rattlesnakes are around, though encounters are rare, bites even rarer. They like basking on sunny rocks or warm trail spots. Hikers have seen snake footprints.
So watch where you step.
Definitely. And keep watching for poison oak, especially near water and in oak groves. Learn to identify those 3 glossy leaves.
What about bigger animals? Mountain lions.
The wilderness is thriving. 139 bird species, 37 mammals, 46 reptiles, amphibians, even fish, commonly seen. Lizards, coyotes, skunks, mice.
But mountain lions, have they been seen?
Hikers have reported seeing footprints, and one hiker recently had a very rare sighting at nearby Whiting Ranch, which made them keep looking over their shoulder on a solo hike on Sitton afterward.
Yikes. Rare, but good to be aware.
Exactly. Encounters are rare, but being aware, knowing how to react, is part of wilderness safety and respect.
Okay. Other safety tips? Hiking alone. Self-service.
Always best to hike with a friend or group if possible, buddy up. Safer, often more fun. Always carry a fully charged cell phone, but don't rely solely on it. Reception can be spotty or non-existent in remote spots.
So the phone might not work.
Might not. Most importantly, tell someone reliable, family, friend exactly where you're going, your route, and when you plan to be back. That's your crucial safety net if you don't return as expected.
Good advice. What happens if things do go wrong? Is there search and rescue?
Yes, there is. The San Diego County Sheriff's Search and Rescue, SAR, is an all-volunteer unit. They dedicate themselves to responding to distressed hikers, providing crucial help.
Volunteers. Wow.
Yeah, amazing people. Also worth noting, County Ordinance 364.1 allows for reimbursement of emergency costs up to $12,000 for rescue ops.
So being unprepared could cost you.
Potentially, yes. It's not meant to deter you, but underscores the importance of personal preparedness and the potential financial side of needing rescue. Prevention and preparation are always the best policies. Why Sitton Peak is for you, the intermediate to advanced hiker.
Okay, after all that detail, let's bring it back. For you, our listeners, the intermediate to advanced hikers, the not-so-casual hikes regulars, why is Sitton Peak via Bear Canyon Trail the perfect deep dive for your next group outing? It seems to hit all those marks, right?
It really does. It strikes that excellent coveted balance. It's frequently described as challenging, but not too harsh. Provides a genuinely enjoyable half-day outing without being totally exhausting if you have a good fitness base.
So satisfyingly tough, but not spirit-breaking.
Exactly. It's even been hailed as a new favorite by some, consistently rated a great place to get outside, connect with nature. Its progressive difficulty builds endurance without crushing you too early.
And it offers lots of variety, right?
Yeah.
Not just a boring slog uphill.
Far from it. The changing terrain, rolling hills, shifts in flora chaparral to oaks, those unexpected downhills followed by a monstrous hill. It all keeps your senses engaged, muscles working differently.
And good for people thinking about bigger challenges, like the six-pack.
Particularly perfect for that. If you're considering the six-pack but don't have a ton of long, high-gain hikes yet, Sitton is an excellent one to start with. An ideal intro to longer distances and peak bagging without being overwhelming right away. Perfect training ground.
Cool. And the payoff. That view.
Ah, the undeniable highlight. The commanding 360-degree view from the summit. Consistently highlighted as absolutely worth it. The views are definitely worth the effort.
And what makes this 360 view special?
Its incredible urban-wild interface. You're high enough to see the vast sprawl of Orange County and beyond, yet you're deeply immersed in this pristine wilderness. A profound reminder that truly wild spaces exist just beyond our cities. It provides that scenic challenge and rewarding payoff you seek. Truly memorable.
Love it. And let's not forget the post-hike tradition, the candy store.
Yes. After a solid half-day effort, several hikers mentioned making a pilgrimage back to the Ortega Oaks candy store for a well-deserved treat. Cashew barks, peach ring gummies.
Specific.
People remember the important things. Others made a beeline for a McDonald's run, Big Macs and fries to refuel and celebrate. Sometimes simple comforts are the best reward.
Totally. It adds that touch of group camaraderie, right? Sharing stories at the picnic tables or just knowing that local gem awaits makes it a fun hike start to finish.
Absolutely, from the first step to the final celebratory bite. Outro.
Wow, what a deep dive into Sitton Peak. From its really unique urban wilderness setting and diverse ecosystems to that demanding but clearly rewarding final scramble and those absolutely incredible panoramic views, it sounds like a truly rewarding, unforgettable experience for anyone ready for a solid challenge.
Indeed. This dive highlighted not just the physical demands and the unique features that make it so dynamic, but also the rich ecological context of the San Mateo Canyon wilderness. And, the crucial non-negotiable importance of being prepared to safely enjoy these amazing wild places.
It's that perfect blend, isn't it? Accessible challenge, stunning natural beauty makes trails like Sitton Peak so special. A powerful reminder that even near huge cities, incredible natural adventures await, demanding our respect and inspiring us to get out there.
So as you, our listener, consider your next group adventure, maybe the question isn't just if you'll tackle Sitton Peak, but rather,
Yeah.
what new perspective will that commanding 360-degree view inspire in you? What will you discover about yourself and the world around you from that unique vantage point?
Great thought. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.